Work session discussion, meeting minutes. Any changes or questions? All right. We'll move to department head report.
I've got an update on everything, so if someone else wants to go, I'll.
Any department head report?
You're up.
You're up.
Okay, so as you see, we're in the middle of a concrete reconstruction replacement project. The back steps are complete. I think it turned out very, very nice. The flagpole is the only thing. We're gonna get that. We brought the JLG down on us. It's supposed to be a nice day Friday. We'll get that flagpole painted Friday. We'll still be in black. Flagpole done.
Looks great. We got a lot of great confidence in the president judge. Was grateful we did that fairly expediently. And
So the next thing is, obviously this morning, they're taking some elevation shots for final grade. They'll get this all, the mechanics guys are gonna get everything graded off. The Marcos will come in, they're planning on coming in on Monday as far as forming. From the time they get things formed to the time they get things poured, they're anticipating 3 weeks. Once that's poured, so that's the second couple of days to cure a little bit. And then we'll move on to the other side, open this up, and start the demolition on the other side.
just one question on the whole water leak and the insulation. I see they're putting all that back. Is there any long-term ramifications, any issues they had?
We don't know. We don't think that we think everything's, we got
Still.
water lines fixed. They were concerned, there was no water pressure. We were out there this morning. Here, the valve wasn't open all the way. Inside, so,
That'll do.
Valve open, so we sent our guys down to open the valve. So lo and behold, there's water pressure.
Okay.
Imagine that. So, yeah, it's all taken care of. They decided, instead of messing around with squat patches on the rubber membrane, as you can see, they just replaced it all.
Okay.
There's that. Got some news late yesterday afternoon, some stuff emailed over to me. I just didn't have a chance to get it to you, and even if I did, you pretty much have to go over it. We met with Constellation last week out here in regards to the parking lot, the sidewalk, the handicap curb ramps, and unfortunately, they reached out to the state. The state wants HOP, highway occupancy permits. And that also is going to entail, to do the highway occupancy permit, you have to have stamped engineered drawings attached to that to turn in with the application for the highway occupancy permit. So that's with the engineering and the time that it would take to get the permit itself. They're anticipating 45 to 60 days before we could even do anything out there. So,
Did they say the basis on why we need the HOP, Dan? Is it because we're tinkering with the curves?
Going to change the, now,
It's going to fix the mistake that they made. To be blunt.
now they sent over, Brian sent this over to me. We went over it a little bit, towards the end of the day yesterday, and I made some notes on it. And like I said, it was just too late. I can send this over to you to take a look at. Obviously, he has questions where we want to go. We also found out that there is it's a 100-foot right of way on a state road. So from down the center yellow line,
50 foot.
50 feet on this side, 50 feet on that side. So that, there's new drawings that I got. And with that right of way, they said that we wanted to, they're confident, they're pretty sure that we could encroach that right of way if we wanted to. But there's more drawings here now to stay off of that right of way. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna shorten up the parking area where the angle parking is. Where the parking lot is currently right now.
So PennDOT's responsible for the trees and not us.
Yeah. So there's There's this drawing with all kind of notes and stuff on it. That's with what would require the highway occupancy permit. If we decide to go without the highway occupancy permit, obviously, we're looking at not changing any of the curb ramps out there or anything like that. And what they would propose to do to eliminate the water project is where the speed bump is, the temporary curb. They could take that out and do an elevated concrete pad that would come to like a crest for water out. And we wouldn't need the highway occupancy permit or anything to do that, but then everything stays out there the way it is. The curb ramps, the sidewalk, everything.
I think it's worth some debate, though. Yeah. Seriously.
So every time they fix a handicap accessible ramp in a municipality, they have to have a highway occupancy permit.
Well, this,
Like
is,
if-
this is on a PennDOT road, that's why we're getting jammed
Is
up.
3rd Avenue and Beaver, PennDOT Road?
That's a PennDOT.
What I'm saying is when CDBG does handicap accessible ramps in the borough of Monaca or Rochester Borough on a state road, do they have to get a handicap or a highway occupancy
Off the top of
permit?
my head, I don't know, but
Lisa.
based off. of
Okay,
this,
thank you, Lisa. I thought you were back there.
Yes, the engineers take care of that.
Okay, thank you. So,
When
If
you
you need the HOP, you're not gonna get that done. You're not
No.
gonna get that concrete by the time you do that.
it'll be too late.
Is that road gonna be wider than for one block and then narrow down?
Not touching the road at all.
Yeah.
It's just, it's our property. It's all. If we can avoid the permit stuff and just do that elevated concrete, I think that's worth a try versus the speed bump that's there.
So do I.
Would the commissioners consider the side door over here that goes out to the parking lot? They have a step down to the parking lot. The side over here has a landing and then it's dirt and mud that goes to the parking garage. Would you consider putting a sidewalk to the sidewalk instead of landing, mud, sidewalk?
We talked about
We
that.
can talk
Yeah.
about this, and I think that if this is the direction that the commissioners would like to go, we can handle that in-house. It's unfortunate, we're not gonna be able to get to it until the spring
Okay.
with our list of work that we have going on now. But I think.
Yeah, I never understood why it was done that way.
I think that's a better option.
Why it was done that way originally.
That was prior to the
Thank you.
you can look at doing it in-house.
other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other department head report? All right. Move to the solicitor.
The intersections at Brighton Township and Hopewell on 376. Currently working with Duquesne Light and Turney Electric, who Tammy utilizes to try to get those light poles back up and running. I believe Duquesne Light's going to be out of Hopewell next week doing some work there.
Monday, when I was traveling back and forth, I saw they were out there working at Brighton, and yesterday they were at the Chippewa exit. Somebody was doing that too, and I think we have some responsibility for that.
Yeah, so there's some work being
So
done.
obviously they're trying to replace, and they look like they were checking with lights.
Right, I think they're doing some circuit
Which
checks
ones
to
were-
see which ones are out, which ones are working. So there is ongoing work to try to get the lights. There's been lights off at those various exits to try to get those problems resolved. We have about 195 assessment appeals as of right now, which I expect that number is going to continue to go up. Starting tomorrow is the first date that we will be in court on these various assessment appeals. And then finally, ballots, it's that time of year again, are going to likely be mailed out next week for anyone who's looking to do mail-in ballots. Expect to receive those probably in the mail next week. 39 resolutions on the agenda for tomorrow. A couple of the highlights. Number 2, this is the company that we utilize to do the vending down at the ice arena. Number 3, Reno Brothers does HVAC troubleshooting here at the courthouse. Number 28 is for a CDBG project for street light replacements at Alaquippa. 29 and 30 is for the COC planning projects here in Beaver County. And then finally, 34 is a facade improvement project in Ambridge. Do need an executive session regarding a personnel matter.
Any questions for the solicitor? All right, we'll move to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Manning?
Just a couple of things we already covered there. The microphones for the firefighters. I don't know, did we get back to the whip he gave
The
us
price for the
yesterday?
microphones for the mics for the firefighters. Bro, you weren't at the meeting. You were traveling. Brian, obviously you're familiar with Brian and Kevin were here. We met with the Firefighters Association after last week's meeting. There were some concerns regarding the heat plus the knobs turning the channels. So we had them get a little bit of Motorola or Bearcom. Motorola gave us a new price, how much it would cost for us to replace those, as long as they're still in the box. I said to the association representatives that it'd be up to them to reach out to each fire company and ask if they wanted to change them or not, because one, it's a lot of work. Two, it's going to be more cost to that company, and it's minimal cost probably, but are those companies going to want to pay for them?
It's still 80-20.
It's still an 80-20 split. So
Yeah, it looked like
I'm okay with moving forward for them doing the work
yeah.
and seeing who wants them, who doesn't. But like, for instance, I think your fire station already opened theirs, I think. So I don't know what the answer is to that right now. But I'm okay with them
Yeah.
moving forward.
Kevin came up with a cost.
Yeah.
The 20% cost share for the fire departments was like $15.38 per
mic, yeah.
The total cost is less than $80.
I'm okay as long as you okay it. Once you send the okay on it, then it's fine with me.
And I think after we do this, then we could start talking to the companies who have already opened theirs. How many do you have in yours, do you know?
And I think there might have been 4 or 5 products.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have the list
Big
of
Beaver,
them.
Big Knob, Brighton, and Monaca.
So
Yeah.
he's on his way. Yeah, I called him. He's getting ready to come back from Harrisburg, it sounds like. So, or Philadelphia.
23 was pretty good.
Oh, we have the numbers here.
Yeah.
It looks like you have
23 in Big Knob.
23. So, but we're okay with. I'm okay with the fire. I mean, I think that's what we said to the association. They need to reach out to each department to see if they want to incur more cost or not. I'm sure, like you said, it's $15 is not going to be too big of a cost to some of these
But
fire
I
departments.
don't think you have to come back to us again. If you approve it, it should be good, because we,
Yep, go ahead.
That was not a mistake, it was what we
Or
ordered.
it was what
What you
Motorola
spec.
spec
Yeah.
us.
what you
No,
said.
we had a long conversation.
Yeah.
Nobody was blaming anybody or pointing fingers, just in retrospect, they seeing the specs on each, they prefer the high heat resistant mics.
Motorola's feeling is that they sell these all over the country.
Yep, City of Pittsburgh and every place
Oh,
else.
yeah.
So,
Thank
That's it.
The only thing I have is something, we had an individual reach out to me. Wayne, this is a question for you. Do we have any Beaver County flags downstairs? Do you have a cost on how much? I don't know if you've ever ordered them, if we just always had them.
We had a mass order.
Yeah,
when
we
first got it.
ordered them as.
Okay.
we use some-
So we have an individual who's taking a cross-country trip and would like to take one to Beaver County, Utah. And he's insistent. I said, well, we could probably provide that because it's going to that courthouse. He's insisting on covering the cost of it. So can you figure out how much a flag would cost?
Beaver County.
Yeah, Beaver County, yeah. So he wants to, whatever we have.
Whatever we have.
Yeah, whatever we have. And so, yeah, he just wants to take it to the courthouse there and give it to them, I guess. We get a lot of calls from Beaver County.
Yeah, when that guy's there, tell him to stop sending emails.
Yeah, we get a lot of
from
emails. So,
Beaver County Commissioners,
any other business?
Salt Lake City.
I apologize.
That's all right.
First of all, a quick question. And I brought up about the right of way. May I approach?
Man.
Approach the bench.
Okay, so this is what we gave the notice to
Probably we're gonna
proceed.
tell you, no, you're pretty big.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're gonna see the difference. This was before they found out. This is what we said to move forward with no handicap, or no handicap ramps and highway occupancy permits. So we're basically gonna be back to what's out there now.
Okay.
Okay, all right with that?
Is it gonna be repaved or is it just?
It's gonna be
It's
repaved.
gonna be
It's gonna be repaved,
asphalt.
and you know, we'll also lose that staggered look. You know, we will be out front and go straight across.
That's fine.
The other thing that I wanted to discuss with you, I'm sorry.
But how,
You're saying it's gonna be like this and not like that?
No, right now,
No.
right now it's staggered outside. It's,
No,
if you look.
Like if you look out in front of the parking spots, it's.
Yeah, I got
so,
you.
so it's
yeah.
simply this
Yeah.
portion.
Yeah.
But all this can still.
Yes, yes. And this actually, you see, they did a better job.
Yeah.
Show how many
That's the
parking
front desk.
spots.
She's really nice. She's one of my
Wasn't there talk
great-
to keep the concrete over here?
I don't know.
Yeah,
she's-
yeah,
I don't
he
know
was
where
like
she-
just
she's
cut
really
it
nice.
across there.
Yeah, very-
I didn't,
Yeah.
figure that angled stuff, that'll be concrete.
So what they'll do here is saw cut that out, rust that out, and kind of put an elevated
Yeah.
pad
Yeah, a
there.
little bit.
Yeah,
So there'll be a little bit of a hump to drive over, but not,
yeah, but not a big
not as
bump.
bad as that speed
We'll
limit.
get rid of the mount.
Okay.
Yeah, my car keeps getting wedgy.
Wait, where was the 50-foot go to?
Yeah.
Does it show there on that map where
This
those?
dark line is the right of way.
Wow, so basically up to the
Right
parking
to
spots.
the parking.
Me too.
Yeah, Beaver has
I
very
was just
wide.
thinking
And then the last thing that I would like to discuss with you real quick is obviously we're in a situation with new
They just walk
concrete,
by.
and winter
Okay.
coming. They are recommending that we do not use any icing.
I called Josh yesterday and he answered, so I don't know anything about it.
I don't know how we can do that, with it being a public building and the amount of folks we have on their night. So I did some research on,
Dorms.
alternatives.
Yeah.
we currently do use we use a
They must have their
calcium
grandchild.
magnesium acetate,
Grandchild's been told
which
not to
is
go back to
is
bed.
very, it's less corrosive, but it is still corrosive. Okay. Now, I looked
Yeah,
into
she
some
called,
products
talked to him briefly yesterday.
that are
I haven't heard
kind of
from
like, it's a natural de-icer, it doesn't have salt, it won't be corrosive, and we discussed already urea, and it's one of the highly recommended ones. And then it goes into like a pickle brine, alfalfa meal, sugar beet juice, which I'm experienced with that from my time at Monaca. That would be a nightmare for us. You know, they're gonna track in,
Yeah.
shore out Florida. Or they're just like sand, fireplace ash, and coffee grounds. So my recommendation is, familiar with this as well, it's what we did use when I was in Monaca, we used the urea. The only thing there is it's gonna be, it's about double cost of what we're currently using. We are currently paying $11.15 for a bag of the calcium magnesium acetate. Urea, when you buy it in bulk, which we would have to buy the pallet, it's about $18 a bag. So we're going, and it's a 50-pound bag opposed to a 40-pound bag. So we're looking at, the pallet of urea has 40 bags on it, 40, 50-pound bags, and the stuff we're currently using has 49 bags. And we're paying $546 a pallet, and we will go to $720 a pallet.
I think it's worth it.
I think it's worth it,
not
too.
doing the concrete.
We have to put something down, and there's no, spend all this money to destroy it.
I put urea down on mine so it doesn't pit.
Yes.
But then the cars that come off the highway, that come into my driveway, they drip and I get spots and pits in my driveway.
My garage is like that for my wife.
Those like that,
That is-
they seal
Yes,
that right
sign
after
it to me.
they put seal.
Oh,
So that's already down, like
Listen
on the
to what
back
I'm gonna
steps,
say.
right? After they,
They haven't
Finish
sealed
it.
that yet.
they haven't yet, but they will be back out.
just put heated cables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spend $100,000
Butler,
on concrete.
Washington, one of them just did their concrete and did
I think Washington did, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's not-
That'd be a big change order. That'd be a big change order.
But I just wanted you to be aware of that, you know.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other business? All right, we'll move to audience participation. Mr. Woolley, before.
How many handicap spots are there in the garage? Looks like about 15%. And isn't that fairly high? The whole road going up. the first one.
That's because we had the back
The
blocked off.
construction.
So that's temporary?
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
temporary. I think there's 2 or 3 in there, 4 maybe.
Where?
In the garage originally.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a half dozen.
And then we are creating a new lot right out here that will have more, but that was only due to the ones in the back of the courthouse being blocked off.
I'm glad that came up. You want us to take those down, but they're still up.
I would still keep them up while all this is going on, because you still have a lot of people who's normally parked over here, that are looking for spots.
Can we work, I know you had Manaka come on the weekend and clean the back parking lot from the construction. And obviously we want to make sure we compensate for it, because it would have to be on the weekend. Can we look at getting them to come do the courthouse or the parking garage? Or would the truck not
I
fit?
don't think the truck will fit.
So we'll have
What's
to, the truck, the street sweeper won't fit in there. So
Oh,
can we look at cleaning this? I'm sure DPW is going to be happy about that. But can we look at getting in there and spraying and power washing?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any other audience participation before we go to Miss Rossi Keene? All right. Miss, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Do I get to approach it?
Yeah.
I have cards for you all.
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh. And then, sure.
Thank you.
There we go. So I'm here just to introduce my organization, the Genesis Collective, and we're a 501c3. We're 2.5 years old at this point. We started in the midst of the pandemic, but you'll see on the front of the paper I handed you, we exist to build a creative economy by supporting artists in their work and increasing the public's access to art and creativity and entrenching art in and around community development in our county. And we want really to get out of the way and to clear a path of obstacles for creatives to do their work. So there hasn't really been too much of a creative economy here. That's not been a major sector of the arts. And it was really in 2020 when the artists we didn't have a vaccine yet. George Floyd had just been murdered. There was this dual pandemic happening, and I got the honor of facilitating a conversation of artists who had addressed these issues in their art. And it was so profound to me that nobody knew what to do about any of these things, but they had things to say. They saw a way of hope, they saw a way around, they saw a way to express cultural anger. I mean, all of these things just in a piece. And I thought, we really have got to get around this, bring artists together and make a way so that the artists in our region can stop doing this on the weekends in their basement. And if they want to pursue this as a vocation, they really can do that. So that's what we've been doing. We've been doing it through education, exhibits, public art, and partnerships. And we're a diverse crew of artists and advocates and creatives from all over Beaver County. There are lots of different cities and municipalities represented in our artist corps. We make decisions together, we go out and do stuff together. We have just some data over the past couple of years. We've generated nearly $400,000 of economic activity. That is repurposing grant funding we're getting from the Allegheny County philanthropic community and creating projects and work and connecting artists and creatives to people who want to hire, want to tell a story. We've partnered with, partnered with approximately 40 different partners. And this has looked like municipal governments, it's looked like other nonprofits, youth development organizations, museums, like you name it, we'll do it. We've gone into schools where there might be a lack of, for instance, Alcoa doesn't have a theater program. We go in. And that's kind of, we just see a need, we respond to community need with the force of creative energy in our region. So some of the benefits of this work to our county, We see a lot of cross-sector and cross-community work. Like I said, we're made of a bunch of different, members of a bunch of different communities. We represent different ethnicities and races, socioeconomic status, ages. And it's cool because we're able to bring concerns and partnerships already entrenched in the ground. Like, I'm not from Beaver Falls, but there are members of our organization who are, and they know the creatives there, and they know the needs there, and they can connect us with who has those needs or who has those resources and connections. So it's been such a fruitful experiment in communication across the county. And we're doing cross-community work. So we have these Beaver Falls artists working in Beaver or Ambridge or whatever. And it's fun to see how that happens, how that can happen here. We don't need to be divided into the school districts and municipalities that we live in, but we can be a region. Obviously, beautification and quality of life enhancements. So we're currently working on a project. We've been working since January with the city of Aliquippa, listening to the community about their vision for their community, getting a panel of Aliquippa residents to select an artist from their region, from their city, and then getting city approval to put up a mural in the town. We're waiting PennDOT approval on our location, but hopefully we'll have this.
Good luck.
Oh, no, I was gonna ask you for your help. Okay. We worked with the borough of Ambridge to do crosswalks, and that was so much fun. Mario Leone's out there on his knees painting crosswalks, and that was with Ambridge and Heart and Soul and the Genesis Collective, and the community was out painting, and it looks lovely. And we've created earning opportunities both here in Beaver County and in Allegheny County. So our artists are working in the August Wilson Cultural Center, Sweetwater, for the Greater Pittsburgh Nonprofit Partnership. We'll have an exhibit there and of some works by Marlon Gist, a local artist. And we've been featured in Pittsburgh publications, and a lot of that is happening because the creative networks go across county lines, and they're starting to recognize our work and our resources. And we're developing a relationship with Heinz Endowments and the Pittsburgh Foundation and organizations, Forbes funds, and they're taking an interest in what we're doing and funding what we do. We would love to see an investment from the county to match that enthusiasm that we're getting from those organizations. So just generally benefits of arts in a community, it increases educational outcomes across disciplines. So yes, your student their math education is enhanced when you introduce the arts. There's data, I can show it to you, and we want that, right? There is a whole push for educational enhancement here in our region. It reduces crime and enhances citizen and police relationships. It enhances the quality of life. There's more to do, more places to be. There's a sense that we want to live, work, and play here. We had our second season of what we call Uncommon Concerts and Conversations, where we brought top talents out of Aliquippa. I don't keep saying Aliquippa, we are working elsewhere as well. And there were people from all over the Pittsburgh area coming into Uncommon Grounds Cafe to hear great diverse music and all different genres, and to have conversations with these artists. So that's just been really rewarding. In the ways that the commissioners could, and the community, all of you, could support the Genesis Collective, you can attend our functions. I've seen Commissioner Manning at a few, and I appreciate it so much. November 3rd, we'll be at Beaver Station. That will wrap up Art Month in October. We have artists paired with small businesses all over the county. There'll be a map published on our website that will show you where to go. It's sort of an art crawl. You go into the business, you see the art, and we will be able to then support small businesses by giving them social media attention and support the artists. And all of that work then will come to Beaver Station on November 3rd. There'll be a party, food and drink. You'll be able to buy the work if you want it and just really support the artists there. There'll be a winter market. We will be wrapping up an education initiative. We have taught over 200 students, both youth and adults, in art and entrepreneurship, just making sure they understand you can turn this into an income. This can be a way to generate money. How would it look? What do you need to tweak? We're working on that. And this will be our second year where we're having a winter market, where the students from our art education programs will come to the mall when Santa's there, and they'll have a spot and you can come in and buy their work. Another thing, we are looking for funding, a sponsorship for the Beaver Station exhibit. If that's something that you are able and desiring to do, would love to engage in conversation about that. Obviously, operating support, I'm in a heavy grant rating season, so that would be a godsend. But really, the leverage that you might have as well. Speaking on behalf of the Genesis Collective's work, truly, I thought of this, I thought, well, what would that look like for them today? I mean, I have this request in with PennDOT. I had Kevin from Representative Massey's office send it in, so he's on it, but any pressure that could be put on PennDOT, get it done, so we can get the thing up while it's still warm outside. But, if you know who we are and the good we're doing, I'm hopeful that I can contact you and say, hey, can you put in a word about this, that, or the other thing? And I have cards for anyone else who wants them, and if you have any questions for me about our work or our values or anything, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
No, I love the work you do, and Marlon he's awesome.
Yeah.
Marlon, just if you have seen his work, he's exceptional.
Yeah, we had him in the international airport.
Yep. Yeah, he had one hanging at the airport. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
All right. Any other audience participation? Hearing none. All right, we will move into executive session. Thank you.
Thanks for playing along, Dave.
I only have